What is going on, guys? It's Justin from the J Media and I'm back with another video. So today, really exciting, we have the first big mod for the 2020 Toyota Supra. So let me show you guys what it is. So one big thing with the build, so actually it's kind of weird because we ordered this part. This was actually one of the last parts we ordered that came in first. From the title of this video, you guys might already know, we got suspension parts. And with suspension, you have a few different options. You could go springs, coilovers, airbags. So we were trying to find something that my brother doesn't want to ride super slammed, because I guess he see my car being low and he's like, man, I don't want to deal with low car problems. But since he's getting new wheels and tires, he want to have a better fitment. So he went with coilovers. And there's not too many options out there yet for the 2020 Supra, but he did went with the BC Racing coilovers. So BC Racing, a pretty reputable brand. I've done a couple coilover installs. Never done it on a Supra, obviously, but should be able to tackle this, hopefully. From what I know, it's just like your normal, you know, coilover install. The only difference would be with the coilovers. I guess there's some like little sensors, little, I guess, wires I have to unplug, stuff like that. For the Supra, currently I know there's like the KW coilovers. Those are one of the best ones out for the 2020 Supra. They're pretty steep, they're almost $2,500. I think HKS makes some adjustable springs as well for it. There's BC Racing. Yeah, not too many brands made suspension parts so far for the Supra. But yeah, let's go ahead and unbox the BC Racing coilovers and see how they look. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and open it. I just cut it open. This is my first time seeing it as well. From what I know, BC Racing has the signature gold, kind of like a rose gold color. Cool. So it says for the 19 plus Supra, a couple stickers on here. This is the BC Racing BR coilovers. Let's see, custom coilovers since 2006. You guys didn't know, on my Mitsubishi I have 10 coilovers. I did consider BC Racing as well. But anyways, let's see how they look. Great packaging. So what I'll be doing is I'll take it out and then I'll jack up the car. Well, break the lugs, jack up the car, put it on jack stand, take off the wheels. I'm going to attempt to do the front and one rear. And then since this build is for my brother, I also want him to have some hands-on. Like I say, this is his first build. Great car to start with. From the fronts, I believe we do have to take off some plastic trimming up here to get to the strut. But for the rears and fronts, shouldn't be too much of an issue. I've done a couple coilover installs. I think this might be install number 3 or 4 for me. So yeah, most coilover installs more or less should be the same. So let's get to taking out the coilovers and show you guys how it looks. I just went ahead and unpacked one side. So these are the fronts over here. So you can adjust the dampening stiffness of it from the top. And these are the rears. We have the spring setup as well as the struts. So yeah, you can go ahead and get that done. Like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and do one side. We also have the wrenches here to adjust your coilover height. I'm not gonna play with the settings. I'm just gonna put it in as is right now. We probably have to adjust ride height again once we get the new wheels on, which will be coming really soon. So again, we also got some wheels and tires. So stocks were 19s, we went up to 20s. Goes our avant-garde wheels, so really excited to see them. They'll be in the next, I think just in next week. So really soon after this video, you'll see the wheels being put on. But yeah, we're gonna tackle putting coilovers on the 2020 Supra. Just took off the wheels on the rear as well as the front. So one thing to note about the new Mark V Supra, since it is a collaboration with BMW, it is not your standard lug nuts. You have the lug bolts, so these bolts just come off. Also, the jacking points are not like your typical Toyota or Supra, or Mark IV Supra I should say. The mounting points are kind of like BMW points. So there's one on the rear by the diff, one more up front, jack it up. And they do have these little plastic pieces that is on the frame of the car where you could put your jack stands at. So now that I went ahead and took off the wheel on each side, all 4 corners are all jacked up with jack stands. I'm going to go ahead. I think I'm going to start with the rear first. Alright, so let's just take a moment to look at the rear setup here. So like I said, we have springs over there as well as the struts. So what we have to do is take those off. I also know we have this clip. Let me locate it. One of the sensors, I believe is ABS sensor, we have to unplug. Yeah, so pretty much we have to go in and drop this part, drop the rotor, the subframe, drop it down, remove the spring setup, remove the stock struts, and put in the new stuff. I have my brother here back. First time actually wrenching on the Supra, well, for both me and him. We are still working on this first rear because we had to go to AutoZone to grab a couple extra tools. We got like the 3/8, a 1/2 inch adapter, just because we have a 3/8 and a 1/2 inch gun. So he's taking out the last bolt, and then after that this should drop. We should be able to take out the first strut. Alright, so finally got the first fronts out. So again, the springs and the struts, and then let me show you in comparison. These are the aftermarket ones. That's the struts of the rear. So compare struts to struts, put it side by side.
This one is R for right.
Okay, so we're gonna grab the one for the left. It's gonna be the same. The main difference is for the spring on this one, again you can adjust the right height because of this little guy right here, compared to those in the rear, you can't adjust it from the OEM one. Alright, so finally got the first rear done. So you guys can see, again, here is the BC Racing coilover. That's the struts, and then we have the springs here. We didn't adjust it as of now. We're just gonna see. I think it says this setting lowers it about 2 inches. So we're gonna go ahead and do the other rear, and I'm gonna show you guys as much as I can as a step by step. And I'm gonna guide my brother along since we managed to do the other side. So first thing, you gotta take off your wheel. So like I said, wheel studs. One thing on the Mark V Supra is they have this plastic thing underneath. So put the light right here. So let me show you guys. You guys see this plastic thing right here? So basically this plastic thing is held on by, I believe, 3 or 4 10mm screws. So all you need is a 3/8 gun, 10mm, and use a long deep socket so it'll come out real easily. Alright, so managed to take out all 4 bolts, like I say, 10mm bolt, and this plastic piece just comes right out. This is only special to Mark V Supra. Other cars I've worked on doesn't have this, just an extra piece. So now that that piece is on, you can go ahead and disconnecting some stuff. So we will start by, let me see, we'll start by disconnecting some electronic pieces. So there are some wires over here. You want to make sure that you disconnect them so you don't get in the way. Alright, so right now you're going to unplug all the wiring. So basically over here there's 1 and 2. What you'll be using is just a flat tip screwdriver. Essentially just pry it off, and then you have the actual plug, which is over here. So to remove that is a little clip. Again, you can use a screwdriver, press it down, and this clip comes right off. So that's all you're doing, is removing these wires, disconnecting them. Alright, so pretty much disconnected these wires. You can see they kind of hang freely now. Next thing you're going to do is remove those bolts up there. So there's 1, 2, and 3, and all you'll be needing is this guy right here, which is they call this the 12mm E-Torx screw. So it's not a normal 12mm. We got this from AutoZone. It's kind of like a star shape. So got that, and then just put it on your 3/8 gun and take it off. Alright, so pretty much just like that it came out. So you can see it's a little loose, but you can see still in place because we do have to remove some bolts on the bottom. So this was the tricky part that we were working with earlier. Let me show you guys. So there are a couple stuff you have to remove here. So the first thing you want to loosen is underneath over here. So there's 1 bolt here, 2 bolts. So you want to remove this one to the left first, and then remove the one on the right. So the one on the left, I believe, is 2 18mm.
One crank at a time.
Alright, so pretty much like I said, you do have to take off those 2 bolts. We already went ahead and loosened bolt number 1, which is right there to the left. That's a 18mm on both sides, so you have to use like a 1/2 inch and 3/8. And then on this one, I don't know why it's so weird, but on one side this is a 16mm, the other side is a 21mm. Alright, so just like that, both bolts are out. So 1 and 2. So right now the whole thing suffering kind of sags, and you should be able to take out the coilover. So it's a little bit of finessing, but you'll be able to kind of just shake it out since we have everything loose. So you can already see the strut. My brother is just trying to remove it right now, and then same for the springs as well. Alright, and my brother is taking out the rear strut. So you can see it's pretty much almost out. You have a little bit of finagling to do just because it's pretty tight spot. There we go, we have it. So strut number 2 out of the car. So now just remove the springs. And the springs, same thing, since we pretty much dropped the whole thing, should be pretty easy to remove. And just like that, springs are out as well. So now, same thing, we're just gonna throw on the aftermarket suspension. So first we have the springs. So these BC Racing springs that goes in. Alright, so right now we have the springs in, and then the struts here as well. So we're just pretty much tightening everything back in place, tightening all the bolts down here back together, and should be good to go for the other rear. And then just like that, we have the other rear done. So other side took us quicker than the other side. It's always hard figuring out one side. So right now we have both rears of the car done. We're gonna take a little break before doing the fronts. Rears are done. We already went ahead and put the tires and wheels back on. Right now you can still see a little bit of gap, but we haven't lowered it to the ground. It does look a little lower.